Hi, Gerhard Bloom, once again looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So you may well have heard of the rally in Dearborn, Michigan. It's a suburb of Detroit, on behalf of, those poor oppressed Palestinians, right, in Gaza. And you have a speaker there calling for, yes, the death of Israel and also the death of the United States. These guys, Dearborn, Michigan, has been absolutely captured by radical Islam. And you have people showing up, shouting, yes, death to Israel and death to the United States. The United States of America has welcomed these people into its arms, begrudgingly, I'm sure, by a great many people, but it did. And rescuing these people from, poverty, tyranny, their war-torn countries, the corruption and brutality and radical Islam. And they come to the United States. And this is the gratitude that they show the American public. Now, this is a very dangerous, this rhetoric is extremely dangerous because you've got millions of people who've just flooded into the United States. And amongst those who have flooded in, yes, undoubtedly terrorists. How do we know that? Because a record number of people on the terrorist watch list have been caught at the border. We just don't know how many have not been caught, but terrorists have obviously come in. These guys calling for the death of Israel and death to the United States, in my world, you would have a judge, sitting at the international airport, and you would have army trucks loading these people into the back of that army truck, march in front of that judge, a quick, yes, I witnessed this person shouting death to the United States. Off you go back to that shithole, war-torn, corrupt, tyrannical country that you came from. And not only do they take the Gazan side over the Israeli side, they are champions of Iran. I have several friends from Iran. They're very happy to be in Canada, and they have absolutely no love for that regime. You know who has no love for the regime in Iran? Iranians. The vast majority of the public do not want that government in power. It has, after the Iranian Revolution, slaughtered hundreds if not thousands of people, extrajudicial murders by the government. Yes, they stone people to death. They routinely engage in torture. They are the world's largest supporter of international terrorism. That's Iran. Do you recall just recently protests, and it looked like that government was on the verge of collapsing in the wake of them having beaten to death an Iranian woman whose headscarf wasn't on properly and some wisps of hair were showing. She was beaten to death by the Iranian government. Why is it that the government didn't collapse? That's easy, because they were putting snipers on rooftops, shooting people. A strategy that they deliberately employed was targeting young, attractive women. Why? Because that is utterly demoralizing. And yes, they were torturing people. They were summarily executing people. So the government stood. One day that government will fall. And you have people in the United States saying, and why were they criticizing the United States? Well, of course, for its support of Israel. And they said, no, it's not genocide, Joe, because, the Biden administration has given grudging support to Israel. No, the whole system has to go. And I was listening to Matt Walsh. He was a great podcaster. I agree with him on most things, but he misunderstands this particular scenario. He thinks these people, they're not grateful, so recognizing that they're not happy with the United States, why don't they just leave? Here's the answer. The answer is that Islam is inherently expansionistic. I saw a video on X just the other night. A Brit, a Muslim Brit, is talking to a guy saying, yes, Britain will end up under Sharia law. That is the way the projection is going. Natural birth rate declining amongst the natives of Britain. white people. And the birth rate of Muslims soaring, and more Muslims are washing up on the shore. Islam is capturing Western Europe. Thankfully, Hungary has gotten wise, put up a wall, and is turning them away. Go someplace else. You're not wanted. And it's not race. As I say, I've got Muslim friends. And I just don't say, oh, I have them. I actually have Muslim friends, very dear to me. And they are no fans of militant Islam, and they don't want Canada turning into an Islamic state. That's why they left Iran in the first place. And a friend from Azerbaijan, no. But in the United States, they're caving to this utter nonsense. And this is why Joe Biden wants to win Michigan in the next election. So he's trying to placate these radical Muslims. So he's calling on Israel for an immediate ceasefire. An immediate ceasefire. There's no ceasefire involved here. Hamas needs to be eliminated. That government, that tyrannical Islamic government, kills its own people routinely. And it needs to fall. And Israel needs to do everything it can to secure Gaza and remove this cancerous ideology from its midst. Oh, it's an idea. You can't destroy an idea. Well, the United States, post-World War II, Nazi Germany, rooted it out, root and branch, turns into a liberal democratic government, and Nazi, no, done. And Imperial Japan, same thing, although not to the same extent, and Japan has yet to come clean on its atrocities. But at least it has a new constitution, and militant Imperial Japan, done. So at any rate, the insanity continues, and what Biden is thinking, trying to placate. He won't placate these people. These people want an Islamic state in the United States. They want the United States to become Islam. Islam, in case you didn't know, means submission. And there is war unless and until the world submits to, the divine law, Sharia law. Well, I refuse, and Americans should refuse. And Europe, dark days ahead. They may well have already, they're going dim as I speak. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and attention. Do drop a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Gratifies my fragile male ego. And yes, check out my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. I walk you through this Islamic ideology and this myth that Islam is a religion of peace. Nothing could be farther from the truth. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Bye-bye now.